if this comes out on Toro Tuesday and somebody's sitting on a Toro, just think, you could be eating a reverse seared Toro.
Love that.
On Toro Tuesday. Is that a plug? Sorry.
Just put on some headphones and jumped on my machine. And I'm cutting rough and it's coming up all nice and clean. My homie's right behind me and he got some stuff to spring. All together now. Let's maintain that turf today,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Turf Today, recorded on the Superintendent Network and brought to you, as always, by Toro. I'm Adam Kershane, and thank you for joining us this week. We've got a little bit of a different setup. Brian couldn't make this one, so I called in a couple of good friends from the turf podcasting world to jump behind the mic. Joining me are Tyler Miget from Under the Greens podcast and Dave Warszawski from Your FUCC Golf Podcast. Thank you so much for filling in, guys. This is going to be a great one. Our guest today is Ben Ellis, Golf Course Superintendent at Andrews Air Force Base Golf Course. And Ben has one of the most unique jobs in our industry. Every day he manages a golf course on an active military installation where military aircraft, security operations, and even Secret Service training are just a part of what he does. We talk about what that's all really like, his path from Fort Belvoir Golf Club to becoming a superintendent, and, well, a few of the lessons he's learned along the way. It is a fun conversation with plenty of laughs, some great leadership advice, and a fascinating look behind the scenes at one of the most unique golf courses in the country. Before we chat with Ben, let me patch in David and Tyler. And it looks like there's something going on here.
Quite literally, Adam. I was just telling Tyler that if you see the car to my left, I'm in an Aldi's parking lot. The joys of driving a classic Volkswagen, bro. My CV axle bolts just came out. And so,
oh my gosh.
So I'm like, well, I guess I'm here going to do the podcast here. And then, my
Not
wife,
going anywhere.
Bro, I ain't going nowhere. My wife literally just dropped off my jack. So, cause I live like maybe 2 miles away, which is great. So she dropped off the jack. I'm safe. So after I'm done with you guys, I'll jack it up, see what parts I need, what bolts, and then, yeah.
What a day, brother.
Off the run,
dude. Since 3:30 this morning, right? Since 3:30 this morning.
Oh, baby.
That's fantastic. Tyler, how you doing, man? Grind in the middle of the summer right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fortunate enough to take a family vacation last week.
Nice.
Went up to Lake Michigan with the fam. Killer time. Got back. Didn't have a laundry list of things to do, but had an important list. The sprayer had a leaky diaphragm. Rebuilt that today. And, so just getting the things, checked off before I leave again tomorrow.
Right back on the road.
Yeah, dude. We're doing our Indiana, Illinois loop for the other project. So I don't know if it's kosher to mention that. I don't want to.
No, you're all good. I watched the first episode, yesterday, actually. How'd that go?
Dude, it was a blast. It was kind of nerve-wracking to like take an idea and make it a real thing. It was kind of surreal, like I'm kind of coming on the tails of you guys who have already done it, but I don't know. It was just like, I don't know if it was the same for you, but it was just a wild experience to go like, it lives on the internet and, out in the real world now. It's a thing, like people can listen to it.
Yeah.
Well, I tell folks, it's like you become immortalized. You know what I mean? As long as the internet's still around, your kids' and so forth.
Oh, what a trippy thought.
Yeah, and I remember having a lunch with a few of my buddies before starting the podcast and just being really nervous. And one of my buddies just said, Adam, we're going to have the same lunch next year, same time next year, and it's going to be a regular thing. You just got to live through it, put the work and the time in, and you'll get there. So exact same thing for you.
That's all I'm doing. That's all I can do, right? Just, we started it, so we're going to see it through. But yeah, super stoked for the Indiana Illinois Loop. We got some bangers, got some great folks on. And the ones we've already done, super awesome. So they'll be dropping every week, and excited to share it with the world, you know?
% brother, 100%. How was the old round table down south there, Dave?
Well, it's like bittersweet for the fact that the only guys that showed up was my co-host and my buddy that I went to the GCA with, Dennis. That actually you met, Tyler, when we saw you at when you're at your briefing. At your speaking point thing. And I know
your military is showing.
I know. I did it then too. But no, so it actually worked out great because some of the people that had reserved things have come up and they couldn't make it. But it was amazing because the guy to my left was Lewis, who's my co-host, my buddy that I met at Heritage Owl. He went to the PGA show with me, and Dennis went to the GCA with me. So it just turned into like, wait a minute, guys, let's look at this. We both went to 2 different shows together, and it turned out awesome. I mean, and the fact that too, that Lewis, you know, he's not in the industry. He doesn't know the ins and outs of certain things that we do. And he had some good questions for us. So it turned out awesome. I'm still going to have another one. Those that can make it, great. If not, we still had a blast because we were also at my buddy's place at Walk On. So we had a couple drinks, you know, all that type of stuff. And it was still great. It was awesome. I can't wait to publish it.
Nice. Yeah. Well, sometimes it works out when you just have 1 or 2 people there and it's just really intimate and you can kind of dive into things and people get to talk. When there's too many cooks in the kitchen, sometimes it can be tough.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Oh, yeah.
From early morning checks to end of day tasks, the Toro Vista is built to support your daily routine. With gas or electric options and a steel bed for your tools and supplies, Vista delivers a smooth, reliable ride. One that can take you from the shop to the clubhouse, interacting with members and surveying your crew. It's quiet, it's comfortable, and customizable to your course's brand. Vista is built for work and made to move. Get your go-to work vehicle today at toro.com/buildyourworkman. Only from Toro.
So you guys excited to do a little interview today? I know, Dave, you've talked to Ben a little bit previously. Tyler, I'm not too sure if you're familiar with Ben at all.
Yeah, done a little research from the briefing as well. Yeah, dude, I'm stoked. This guy sounds awesome.
Yeah, he's somebody I've been talking to for a while, and he sort of said like, "Hey, I have a cool story, but I'm working on a few different things, and when I get to that point, I think it'll be a good time to come on." So he's got a bunch of great stuff lined up for us, I think, today.
Let's go.
Yeah, awesome.
How do you pronounce this base? Is it Belvoir?
Fort Belvoir.
Belvoir. Okay.
Yeah, that's Belvoir. That's what I can't wait. The fact that I lived on Fort Belvoir.
No way.
The fact that him and I were in the same areas, man. I lived on Belvoir and commuted to the Pentagon. So his whole area, like I was telling you before, Adam, it's great. It's going to be very exciting. I'm anxious to talk to him. Man of the hour.
Here he is.
Hey.
Ben, what's going on, man?
Staying busy, growing grass, kicking ass, all that stuff.
What stuff?
This is awesome.
Peep the clock, Ben. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. Attaboy.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how it works.
Yes, sir.
I dig it, man.
So yeah, Ben, we were just chatting. Dave actually had a little bit of an accident in the parking lot. I can't say an accident, but a little bit of an issue. So he's parked right now.
I think the scientific term is a boo-boo.
Yeah, that's right. That's the thing with driving this thing so much. I mean, Ben, man, I was driving this on 95 through the mixing bowl to DC. This thing was at the Pentagon. And so
that's a nightmare. That is a absolute horrendous road there, to say the least.
In this, exactly. So I'm in all these parking lot right now because as I bought some food, I'm literally pulling out and one of the CV axles just busted. So yeah, you know what it's like. It's never ending fun.
Never ending is definitely the word. It's traffic mania up here and some of probably the worst that we've all seen. And it would literally take me 40 minutes to get to work at, 3 a.m. It would take me an hour and a half home each day. So it's just
boring.
That's rough. That's rough.
Had to enjoy the ride. That's for sure. Enjoy the ride home.
Well, we appreciate you taking a little bit of time to join us tonight. 6:00 at night's late for a superintendent, so we have to get straight to bed after this. So something a little different today. We got Dave and Tyler on co-hosting with me. Awesome. And yeah, very excited to get into your story. Ben, just go back and tell us where things started and kind of how you got to where you are today.
Well, my name is Ben Ellis. I'm the golf superintendent at Andrews Air Force Base Golf Course in Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C. I began at Fort Belvoir Golf Course back when I was 16 years old, and I wanted to be a golf pro. And I thought, oh, this would be cool. I'd give lessons. I would run a pro shop. That would be neat. Let's do that. Well, I got hired on the ground staff a year later, and that was just odd. And I'm like, so what would I be doing? And the super at the time said you'd be changing cups, you'd be mowing tees. Well, that sounds like fun. I want to do that. About 3 days into my job, I looked and said, what's this golf superintendent do? Like, I didn't know. I'm 17 at the time, like 16, 17. It's like, oh, he likes plant science, likes being outside, likes golf. I want to do that. And I stayed with it ever since. And it was not a lot of high school people, especially not growing up with a parent in the business, has really thought about being a golf superintendent. And I'm in high school like, yeah, I want to be a golf course superintendent. What? Nobody really knew what that even was. I mean, a lot still don't either. But then, I moved around. I went to the Penn State online program. Loved it. And then I got hired as the assistant at Andrews Air Force Base back in 2010, became the superintendent. Management was less than ideal. I will say that. I think that is, it was very difficult to work with the management at the time. Being a younger superintendent, we have expectations, as we all do. But the budget was constantly getting cut and cut and cut, and they looked at all these high-end clubs around us and were trying to compare us, and it just wasn't like, look, I don't have the staff, I don't have the manpower, the budget, and I was just constantly just getting blamed for the course and low play, and I'm like, it's not me. And even the golfers even said, they're like, yeah, you're doing a fine job. They cut budget, and I couldn't even do my job when I'm having to battle, literally had the conversations of why do we need fertilizer? Those were the conversations. It was a good test for me to go in and really have to really think about, okay, well, if I were in their shoes, would I ask that? No, but they did. So let me rethink this and let me explain why. So after I got a little tired of that, I left. I moved on to other golf courses. One was during COVID, where I was literally the only person on a 36-hole golf course by myself for over a month during COVID. And I went back to actually Belvoir at the time. So it was a course I grew up on. So it worked out very well, but it was just okay, I got the 36 holes here. I'm just learning the golf course again as a manager, and I'm by myself. And I'm telling you, it was really nice though. I got to tell you, there was no traffic. I got to be left alone. I mowed 18 greens one day, 18 greens the next. I would work on the mowers after that. I had no real worries. I'd mow fairways every so often. I'd mow rough every so often. It was nice. So then we got back to a normal world and enjoyed it. The opportunity came back. All new management came into Andrews a few years ago. All new management. Everybody head to toe, new clubhouse staff, everybody came in. And they offered me the position back. And at the time, and still is, it was the best decision for me and my wife that I would go back to Andrews as the superintendent. Now, when I left Andrews in 2018, we had 54 holes. We were the largest military golf course in the world. So 54 holes is a lot of golf. And in 2018, we had a $1 million budget
Oof.
for 54 holes in the Mid-Atlantic. We did more with less. And then towards the end there, it was actually, they yanked it down to about 900,000. And it was just, obviously shoestring for everybody.
We call that the George Foreman budget.
Yes.
That is a lean, mean, fat grilling machine, dude. Holy smokes.
I mean,
900,000?
And it
For
was at the point
54.
of, it was to, and again, those questions at the time were, do we need to buy top dressing sand? Do we have to? I had to really go back to basics with turf and explain it. I can't BS people at all. I cannot BS people. So when I went in there and would talk to the managers, I would explain it, but I tried to explain it a little bit, but a lot of it got very technical because I was also like, well, this is what I know. And they would just think that I'm BSing them. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm just being a little more technical than what you like. And, but in 2022, the new manager who was there offered me a job back. I did take it. And we did have to recoup the golf course from some major issues. So that's a whole different story in itself. But we've definitely gotten back to that, getting the golf course greens in place, enjoying the job again, getting equipment into place, and having the support with this new management has been extremely grateful. When they are actually purchasing mowers for us, allowing me to do my job, allowing me to, yes, we're still very lean on staff. Absolutely. Up until this past few months, we've been extremely lean on staff, having maybe at the most for 36 holes now at this point. We typically had last year 11 of us, and that included me, my mechanic, my assistant. So it definitely lean. So I will say something I forgot to mention. Obviously, when I left, there were 54 holes. So you think about, okay, now you only have 36. Well, where'd those other 18 holes go? The very last thing that I did at Andrews in 2018, we closed several holes because, as people who may or may not know, Andrews Air Force Base is the home of Air Force One. So we keep all the presidential fleet is here. Well, at the time, 2 new airplanes were ordered, and you can't put a new airplane in an old hangar. Apparently, the wingspan of these 2 new airplanes were 6 inches too big to fit in the hangar. So, of course, they don't build just a new hangar. They build a hangar complex. So they rerouted the golf course. We closed 9 holes down. So we were down to 45 holes. I had left. The 9-hole golf course that was probably by far the best 9 holes on the property, it was not being able to be managed with the labor, the funds at the time. So basically the golf course abandoned those 9 holes. They completely abandoned it. The Air Force took it back and just said, hey, we will handle it on our end. And so 36 holes were there. And that's what we've operated with since I got back. So it's been definitely interesting. And, seeing the changes going from 54 to 36, and, 18 holes are clay-based push-up greens. The other 18 is straight sand. They're 2 totally different golf courses still. And, one of them, the older one, is very flat, broken down. Irrigation system is from, the last upgrade was 1972. So we do have asbestos transite main lines. We have galvanized swing joints or swing arms at this point. We have a mix of Thompson cast brass sprinkler heads that have been modified and added with Rainbird rotors, Toro rotors, whatever was available at the time. And it is definitely interesting you have to manage the golf course like all of us. We have to manage each golf course differently. We don't just have, this is just how a golf course is managed. I manage Andrews completely different than I operated Belvoir, and completely different from the other courses. So it's, every place is different, and this is just how this works. And we got it. Our golfers, again, we're right outside of Washington, D.C. We are $65 with a cart at peak season on a Saturday. And I think for $65 in the mid-Atlantic, right outside of D.C., we focus everything on our greens. I think you get a pretty darn good product for that cost. And
Nice.
That is the one thing I do thank my staff for, is that, hey guys, I know, yes, this is not a top 100 golf course, but for what these golfers are paying, they have the best deal in town, hands down. And I think a lot of them know it. Others obviously don't. They don't appreciate it, but most of the people understand that this is the best deal in town. So we are very proud of that.
We are back with another Ask the Agronomist segment featuring Dr. Tony Goldsby from the Andersons. Our question today comes in from Darren Fox. How to deal with a green that sits in open sun and gets scorched all day compared to others that are in shadier areas.
Well, thanks, Adam, again for having me on this week's show. And again, thanks for all the great end user submitted questions that we get every week. And this one coming from Darren. And yeah, I would say definitely microclimates are by far one of the biggest challenges that we face in golf course management. When you're looking at a green that's sitting in a full sun condition all day, that's easily going to run 10 to 20 degrees hotter than your corresponding shaded greens in the same types of areas. And obviously that's going to lead to things like increased moisture stress, localized dry spots, which we've talked about. And then, potentially, especially during the summer months, when we're talking cool season grasses like creeping bent grass, right? Even potentially, turf decline could really start to be a big concern in some of those areas. So for those sunnier areas, superintendents are often really going to focus on increased hand watering frequency and, making sure that they're getting out there with moisture meters to make sure they're staying ahead of those localized dry spots. If they are dealing with those, again, using some sort of, water infiltration, penetration type wetting agent is always going to be a helpful thing when you're dealing with, localized dry spots. Also, another factor, especially during the summer months, if you don't have, tournaments coming up or you're not really trying to push, the ball roll speed, anything you can do to kind of back off on rolling frequency is also going to just obviously reduce a stress event to, a green that's already kind of on that borderline. And then, just continuing to really dial in your spoon feeding fertility program, right? You want to make sure that the plant has what it needs to, survive, but you definitely don't want to be overdoing it and ramping things up beyond what they need to be for, good essential balance. So, when we look at that from a flip side, if you will, or a green that's in more of a shaded microclimate, right? And what are some of the things that you really might struggle with in that scenario? Much more likely to have, struggles from poor air movement. So a lot of times, especially in shaded greens, areas like that, you're going to typically see, fixed fans or things like that can help, get some passive air, moving across that green in a little bit more of a dynamic way. And then also, that's going to help to prevent, disease issues from occurring, which quite often are, a little bit of an issue when you do have those passive air conditions in an area where there's a lot of trees and a lot of shade. And then, again, talking about the fertility program, really making sure that, again, and it's really dialed in for, kind of more of that shady condition and making sure you're doing everything that you can to, again, keep that plant in as good a condition as you can when it's going through those. So, definitely unique challenges, both the shade and the sun. But I think, with proper expectations, both can easily be managed, in their own right.
That is great advice, Tony. Thank you so much. This wraps up this week's segment featuring PhD agronomist Tony Goldsby from the Andersons.
Being a military guy, you know, I've been on Andrews, got my eye surgery there when I was stationed at the Pentagon, all that jazz. And I know you and I talked about before, but just dealing with all the FP cons, you know, so all those, the threats and everything like that. And a lot of being on Andrews Air Force Base, people and having the president's, all of his fleet there. Basically what I'm talking about, gentlemen, for the guys that are in the military, you know, you see in the movies like Threat Con Bravo, that type of thing. How is it dealing with all that? That's got to be a pain in the butt.
So obviously our biggest issue as a golf course and everything is our gate. We are a locked, closed base. However, with military golf courses, and this is the one thing a lot of people don't know, there's two big things. One, we don't get taxpayer dollars. We operate under non-appropriated funds. So we are basically a nonprofit group within the DoD. So your taxpayer dollars are not in my budget, but we are open to the public. We are absolutely open to public play. And it's just a lot of extra steps to get you on. But if you can get on the base, you can play golf here, which is fantastic. And we try to encourage that. You know, we do have to do background checks on every employee out here, and they go back pretty far. So I got to tell you, if you hit my fingerprint somewhere, if you find them, I'm in every database you could possibly think of. Literally, I think I'm in every database you can possibly think of. There's no way to hide me. So, you know, different threat levels. And as civilians and not uniformed people, we still have to understand a lot of that and understand, hey, these threats are real. We have a shelter in place room in our shop that, hey, if we get chemical warfare, we can lock our shop down, seal it up, turn off HVAC systems, and we have an entire system in place if stuff like that happens. That's not something every golf course does.
Yeah, it's a first for sure.
No, you know, we have alarms.
Yeah, we don't have it here.
No, I mean, we got big loud voiceover that say, you know, training all the time, and we have to do trainings for active shooters and just significantly more than probably what other golf courses ever do. So it's definitely, the security is very big out here.
Of 100%. I mean, it's the fact that you're the epicenter of our nation's, you know, our capital. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you guys are so close to DC, and obviously like the big man flies out of there, it's crazy the things that you guys have to deal with.
You will definitely see things here that you won't see anywhere else. Every so often, if a plane gets into the area airspace, they deploy the planes out of here. Even though it's not on the news that a plane got in the airspace, we sure know when two F-16s take off and they go balls out and they do a 180 over the city, and you just take off like rockets. It's like, that doesn't look right.
Yeah. Ben, do they ever ask permission to buzz the greens? Like,
I wish.
Oh,
I
wish.
that. I love that.
I will say,
I love that a lot.
If you go onto my social media pages, you can see, I can take pictures of the planes landing and all that. We have planes fly right over our heads. I can get closer to I can literally get closer to the airplanes while they're landing than if I can to go up to the fence line. When I can see inside a C-17 wheel well and it says caution,
Holy smokes.
and I can read it says caution inside the wheel well as it's landing, and I can read Michelin on the tire. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, babe.
it's pretty darn low. And you know, you're out there reading the plane names, and you know, whoever on the side of the airplane as they're landing.
That's pretty
And
badass.
I will say one of the best experiences is air shows. When they do air shows and they bring out and when they demo airplanes and do all their flying, that's some of the best times that you ever see, because the golf course is literally right at the end of the runway. So they're taking off and flying over all day long. So it's a neat experience to be there.
That's awesome. I'm curious, are there, you mentioned like, everybody goes through significant like background checks and, it sounds like there are a lot more hoops to jump through just in general than, like some other municipal course or private club or something like that. Uh, does that pose like challenges for you recruiting labor?
Absolutely does. Absolutely.
Yeah. How does that play out for you?
So all of our jobs are posted on USA Jobs. So you first have to go through that step. It is literally right now about a month and a half to 2 month process to get hired on this job. You have to do background checks, you have to do physicals, you have to do fingerprinting, and you have to constantly come on base, come off base, sign a whole lot of things. If you need a job right away, like if you're a person who says, "Hey, I need a job and work," this is not the place that you can go because we can't just hire you. It's got to be a whole drawn out process. And I've been fortunate enough that the people who I've hired this year have understood that and either have had other jobs that they've waited to come to and were like, "Hey, I want to make that change," or something along those lines. But it's unfortunate that I can't say, "Hey, I need 3 guys hired." We have to start hiring process in February to get them on by April.
Man.
So it's very challenging.
It's not even just
Totally.
it's not even just getting them hired, but like what you're just saying there, Ben, for the guys that have never been on a military installation before, it's not just you trying to get onto the base. It's thousands of people trying to get onto the base. It could be either going there in the morning for shift, and then these guys have to check through a visitor center, and then getting through that visitor center could take 2 hours. So what I mean, from start to finish, they're getting them, through the gate, like you said, Ben, and then the process of now you got to go over to this office to get signed up, whatever it may be, your analysis test, whatever it may be. It's a huge process. So I can imagine you, like if you're waiting for you guys to get to work to cut the grass, I'm like, "Oh, lockdown, can't get on base," that type of thing.
More times than not, it's actually lockdown leaving, and we get irritated because it's like, "Oh, the gate's locked down, and now we can't leave."
Now you can't leave. Get back to work, boys.
So Ben, tell us about the Secret Service, because it sounds like those guys do a little bit of training out there, and you might have a story or two being chased out there.
So Secret Service does train out here. They do that very, very frequently. And a lot of times what they'll do, they'll rent out a course. So they'll rent the golf course out because obviously the presidents, they like to play golf, whoever that is, whether it's Biden, Obama, Trump, whoever, they enjoy to play golf. So one of their trainings is how do you train on a golf course? Well, they rent out the golf course. They do all this stuff. Luckily, it's been notified now, and there's enough signage that says, "Hey, live training," and we stay away because when you start hearing live rounds going off and you hear machine guns and gunfire, and then you just start hearing screeching tires going through the golf course and armored SUVs flying up the road, if you don't know what's going on, it gets pretty entertaining. But
Be fun for a new guy.
It's definitely different when you see just the hundreds of agents out there training, and you just hear gunshots all day and screeching tires, and they're doing different scenarios. So that's really interesting. Now it gets really interesting when the president plays out there.
Right.
We have hosted every playing president except for Donald Trump. He's been on the property, but has not played the golf course. When Obama, he played almost every weekend when he was in office. One weekend I went out with my wife because we had the golf course, we had the South golf course closed. I think we were air flying. And so, we're out there and I'm like, okay, well, he's probably on hole number 9, 10, the back 9 now. So we go leave for the evening. Apparently he was not on the back 9. I'm in a HPX Gator, so not the slowest cart. We drive through the tree line to go back to my office, we didn't realize we're inside Secret Service perimeter. Secret Service all around us. Obama's right there on the green, right around us. And I'm like, oh, crap. I turn sharp, and I find it entertaining. Secret Service has all these golf carts, so they're trying to chase us in the golf carts.
Change gears.
You'll never
See,
get
that's
it.
a picture.
Well, exactly. I'm
That's
in
a
an HPX Gator, and I'm like, oh, I can outrun them. As soon as I started moving forward, I have a armored Polaris flying up in front of me. I'm like, yeah, I can't outrun that one though.
Yeah, no.
And obviously I get searched, and they're like, okay, look, just drive that way. And driving in, I told my wife, I said, hey, look to your right. See that guy with the big gun on you? She's like, oh my God, he's aiming a gun right at us. Yeah, he's watching where we're going. So definitely experiences that you typically don't get anywhere else.
Have you had to go through any like security clearances or security challenges personally for the roles that you've held on those courses?
Just the normal background checks. I don't get anything too crazy. I get normal background checks.
You don't have like
Definitely, if
clearance or
there's some
anything?
things that if anything were too bad, I'd get flagged. So luckily, I'm in good shape with that. So, but there's nothing like I don't have a top secret clearance or whatever. So.
From increased traffic to scorching heat, summer conditions can put your most valuable turf to the test. The combination of Contact DG18918 and Fulltech LQ See-Through from the Andersons delivers premium nutrition, improves root structure, and strengthens overall stress tolerance. From the ground up, this duo builds strong, resilient turf ready for the challenges of the season. To learn more, visit andersonspro.com/beattheheat.
So one thing I wanted to ask you though, Ben, is like obviously you're dealing with a lot of chemicals and such, right? So bringing all these certain types of chemicals that could potentially, mix this one with that type of thing. How's that process then when you're trying to bring in all these certain type of fertilizers or chemicals at mass quantities?
Luckily, those have been pretty easy. We get approval from our base to go through that, and everything we buy is pre-approved. It's all through the local vendors. The only time I've ever been questioned was years ago. I had bought, we had a new person in the contracting office, and they questioned me. Again, our office is literally right beside Air Force One's hangar, the old one too. And it was, Mr. Ellis, why are you buying 40 tons of ammonium sulfate fertilizer and 1,000 gallons of diesel fuel this month? Yeah. Well, it's not ammonium nitrate. It's all fertilizer. And the diesel fuel is for the mower. So I haven't explained that just real quick. It was just, she just kind of was very question of, isn't this a bomb? Luckily it's not. So, we don't use anything extremely flammable. The ammonium nitrate, we don't even touch out here. I'm not a fan of it anyway for what we use it for. So luckily we don't have anything really explosive.
Good question. I was wondering about that too. So talk to us a little bit about the renovation, because I know we were going to talk earlier.
I knew that was coming.
Sounded like it was perfect time to get you on the show after everything went down.
Yeah. So this project is of all of Trump's projects, this one's been kept pretty darn quiet, which is probably a good thing. So it was announced last year from the White House that they were going to renovate Andrews Air Force Base Golf Course. You got to think of it in, okay, we have our nation's leaders out here who play here. They bring in guests. Well, again, I don't blame anybody for wanting to play top golf courses. And, well, why would you show them, this golf course when you got like one of your top golf courses not too far away? So, but we are the most secure place that you could possibly be at. So the whole goal was to bring a quality golf course, a top-notch quality golf course to Andrews. That was the start of it. Jack Nicholas is doing his group is doing the design work, which is very neat. He's been out there himself, and just listening to him, he's got stories galore. The project is going to consist of 2 18-hole golf courses, a 9-hole ADA compliant short golf course, renovations of the driving range and practice greens, along with renovations to the clubhouse and our shop.
Full makeover.
We are blowing it up from scratch. And, going from a golf course that cost $65, just kind of that quality that we're used to, then they're looking at, okay, now we're doing a complete rebuild to this top championship golf course. There's been a lot of questions, obviously. The whole purpose of military golf and golf courses on the base is to serve the service members and their families. That is our absolute clientele.
100%.
And that is the mission we have to focus on no matter what happens to this golf course. We can't outprice the airmen, their families. We just can't do that. So taking all of this stuff into account, there's still a lot of questions to be had. We're fortunate enough. We have some of the best builders in the area that, some of the best people involved in this project to help us build this amazing golf course. But we want to make sure that we can sustain it afterwards at an economical way, because we can't charge $200 a round. We can't charge $150 a round. These airmen don't make that much. These service members, their retirement, they don't make that much. And that is not what we're here for. We are here to support the service members and their families. And yes, we do allow outside play, and they will probably get there's no probably, they are going to get the brunt of the cost. But we are here to provide the service to the airmen, service members, their families, which is fantastic. The first 18 holes, they have just started to do erosion control. And the golf course has to be open. The first 18 holes has to be open July 4th of next year.
Oof. It's tight.
Holy sand bunker.
And they literally haven't had a shovel in the ground yet. So it's definitely going to be curious to what happens, how it gets done. Everybody's still confident that it's going to be done, or confident that it's going to be happening. So we're excited. It's definitely going to be different for me coming from, military golf courses and just, your public end to something that is just going to be totally different. I mean, it is going to be totally different. We're having bent grass fairways, bent grass greens, obviously, premier quality course. And so Trump to Jack Nicholas said, so this is the first 18-hole course. He said, I want a 2-handicapper to shoot 85.
Okay.
The course,
greens.
as it stands, is 7,500 yards as it stands. They have a 275-yard par 3 out there mapped out.
In the words of my friend Morgan, take the drop.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at that now what the plans are in the future. We did have to have, again, this project has been a learning curve for everybody, and which I think has been interesting in itself, because everybody involved in the military from this project, well, nobody knows what the top 100 golf course looks like. Most of them don't even play golf. And yet they're the contracting people. They're the people working on the project. And it was very funny at first, where we had to almost have a class of, okay, these are a vocab class because me and the GM and all the golf people would talk about, the executive golf course. Well, we're talking about the 9-hole ADA par 3, ADA compliant, short course as the executive golf course. Well, everybody else was thinking it was the championship 18-hole golf course for the executives. So we had to kind of place that in, okay, we're talking different things here. Let's get it, just kind of get everybody on the same page. We were fortunate enough recently to take the contractors out to Trump National in DC. And we went around there and said, look, this is what the golf course is. This is what we're being compared to. It won't happen, but this is what it is. And it was definitely an eye-opening experience of, oh, you're talking about this. So it's definitely been an interesting few conversations of just getting everybody to learn. And, then we go into, hey, we need to grow in a golf course. What do you need to grow and win a golf course? Well, what's the number one thing you need first? Walk mowers. We don't have those.
We don't have any.
Something we have. 11 people, we're not walk mowing greens. So we had to take that into consideration. We're like, so when are we going to start seeing these greens? When are we going to do it? And we're like, we need to order the walk mowers immediately. Crap. And luckily, I will say I've had a lot of people on our side. Our Air Force autonomous, Justin Wheeler, he's been adamant and helping us back and forth. We've had at Toro, Brooke Carey at Toro, which, Adam, I think you're actually playing with her next week, I believe.
Cool. Cool.
I think
we're supposed to be golfing with somebody from Toro, so
yep.
Be fun.
So, I literally talked to her about an hour ago. So I've had a lot of people on my side to help get these things through. I've had, everybody to help support this. So, and with as touchy of a project as these are, because of who all's involved, obviously not the world doesn't exactly agree with everything. And again, this is, whatever happens, but I've had a lot of support to follow what we've been told to do. So that's been, it's been very good to have people on our side saying, hey, we're here to help you.
That's fantastic. And you got 11 months. Make it happen. Those crews are going to go to work. It's going to be really cool to see that all happen.
Yeah, the company they hired, I'm pretty sure I can say it. It is Belvoir Golf, and apparently they're known to be able to come in and do stuff in a timely manner and just rip through stuff. So, we all have some very good people. This course, I got to tell you, is going to be, no matter what happens, it's going to be a well-built course. So that's the one headache that I'm never having to worry about, is that it's going to be a well-built golf course. So,
well, if LeBar's doing it, you guys are in good hands. That's for sure.
Have you been able to interact with the Golden Bear, right? Is that Jack's nickname? Am I an idiot? I'm an idiot. Sorry. Ben, have you been able to engage with Jack?
He was out here. So he's been out here twice himself. The second time he was out here, the most recent time was this spring. And I mean, it was brutal cold. We're all wrapped up in heavy jackets, and this was his initial view of the golf course and saying, his people came up with a routing, and he came in and said, okay, let's kind of tweak this, change this. And this is his vision of, hey, how do we want to play the golf holes? And we basically followed him around all day, had lunch with him, and just at the end of the day, he sat down at the 18th hole of the first course and just literally rattled every shot for shot that he would play, how to play this golf course, just from memory, and just bam, bam, bam. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. We just, that's just what. So, I mean, he's not been back since. He'll be back out in the future, but because he's the one who's going to be placing all the bunkers. So, and that's the other challenge is we're trying to order equipment. We don't know what the golf course will actually finally look like because I'm like, I assume we're going to need a lot of bunker rakes just by knowing their style. So we're already preparing, but again, we don't 100% know. So a lot of challenges in all of these moving parts.
That's exciting.
It's just got to be amazing to be in that presence to listen to a mastermind. You know what I mean? Like where he wants to put everything and to be right there, Ben. I mean, it's not everybody else gets a chance to be there. That's got to be amazing.
I never even thought that I would be in this world because that just wasn't the kind of the niche that I was into. I wasn't in that high private club niche, and it just happened to fall into place. And it's, okay, cool.
I mean, you were the super assistant over at Fort Belvoir. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Going from there, because again, I know the area very well from that to, going to Andrews, and now look what you're doing. What an amazing story, bro. I just think that's so rad.
It's a whole new world. And so I'm out here now a little kind of, I won't say scared, but nervous of, hey, I don't want to fail at this because definitely going from the different levels of golf courses, I don't envy the guys who have, high-end clubs because we all have our own challenges. And now my challenges are just going to be different now. And we're still have a lot of questions. What's the budget really going to be once this course opens? It's not going to be, what these super high-end clubs have. It's not. So we still have to provide a good quality golf course. And yet I don't want to fail at this. So I've been asking questions to everybody I can think of and probably annoyed so many people that I really want this course to thrive. And luckily we're getting the resources that we've needed and that we've just never had. So it's not that we don't know how to do it. It's just we've never had these resources to do it with. So I'm definitely excited to get the resources in here, get started, and really start rolling with this.
It's funny that you're saying that, gentlemen. Sorry, I got another follow-up question real quick. Is the fact that, when you have on a military base, you can tell how well the golf course is if the commander golfs, right? So right now, you guys are dumping a lot of money in a way to do this for, in a way, Trump wants to have this for when he brings people out, so forth and so forth, right? What's going to happen in the next term? What's going to happen in the next if they have that type of interest in golf as much as President Trump does, what's going to happen when the next guy's in? Are you guys going to have that budget to keep that type of golf course at that level that was supposed to be initially?
So luckily, with us being non-appropriated funds, whoever's in office really doesn't matter. The only thing that, yes, if somebody didn't step in to say this is happening, no, it wouldn't get done, whoever that is. But it doesn't matter who becomes in office, is that the golf course is still going to operate a certain way because we don't get taxpayer dollars at all. So it doesn't matter. We're always going to operate within the budget that we can as much as we can. So it's, and even the commanders on the base, we've gotten to the point where a lot of the commanders don't even play golf now, just because of, the time changes and that we still have to operate as best as we can. And so we just do what we can.
This episode of Turf Today is brought to you by Standard Golf, proud to support the #1 conversation in turf. Superintendents know that details matter, and for 100 years, Standard Golf has been focused on the details that help courses stand out. From the new Hammer Strike hole cutter to the ST2000 aluminum and hybrid cups, bunker rates, tee markers, in-ground trash cans, and fully custom course accessories, Standard Golf gives your crew the tools to do the job right. Standard Golf is 100% employee-owned, American-made in Cedar Falls, Iowa, and trusted by courses around the world. So whether you're preparing for tournament play, upgrading daily course setup, or adding custom touches to make the course unique, make Standard Golf part of your golf course plan. Visit standardgolf.com or contact your local distributor today.
You're somebody that's gone through a lot, and a lot will come up soon. So I would almost say you have enough to write a book.
I did that.
That's a good segue. That's a good segue. I love that. I got to use that one.
So again, I don't ever want this to be a political podcast either.
No,
but
no, people don't come here for that kind of stuff.
No, but
not at all.
So everybody, it's on the presidential. When they get elected, everybody talks about their first 100-day plan. That was always a big thing with, people coming in to office. What's your first 100-day plan? Well, I thought about that. I said, well, what about, I think golf superintendents are the same way. What do you come in your first 100 days or your first 3 months or your first year? What are you bringing to the golf course? What do you bring? So I decided to take notes every single day. The first year I was in charge, I took notes every single day, conversations, just stories that we had. I took hundreds of photos and we did write a book. And it's called The First 100 Days, being a golf superintendent and living to tell the story. All of us have our own story. So a lot of superintendents really weren't the prime audience, but interns, people getting into this line of work or haven't had a lot of experience with this work yet, golfers, those are the audience that, turf clubs, really getting in the mind of what it is that we go through day in and day out. And I was brutally honest with everything. It goes into, my feelings about how I was talked to, how my home life was affected. And, what the challenges were between the staff and, different arguments and the real things that do happen. And that was something that I was excited to do. And, it takes place in 2017 and it goes into 2018 and 19. So there could possibly, after all this, there could be a second book, but the first one was, kind of my pride and joy of sitting down, writing the first 100 days and just letting it all hang loose of this is my world. This is what I went through and just spilling it all. I was very cautious to change a lot of names.
Yeah, as you do.
And I did have people from the JAG office, just kind of give it a once over, making sure that there wasn't anything, just because I wasn't talking negative about anything, but it was just to be on the safe side of, hey, look, are we up and up that, this is okay.
Where can people find the book if they're looking to, check it out?
Actually the GCSAA store, I would go there first because they have copies in stock that I hope can sell so that they can sell them out there. But other than that, Amazon. So those are, it's the first 100 days, becoming a golf superintendent and living to tell the story.
Love it. I have to check that out.
Ben, you had talked about how difficult your first stint at Andrews was. And you're back now and you seem to be thriving, and there's a lot of kind of organizational changes and stuff like that. What do you think your first 100 days or what is that story like now versus, because I haven't read your book, I intend to, but what is different, what's the same, what kind of still holds true?
I mean, a lot of the big thing is management. It was, that was the driving factor of me leaving. The management was, I almost felt against me because originally I was not the intended person to get the job. So we had people going to bat for me at the very end to say, no, I was the best fit. Was I the most experienced super out there? No, but I was the best fit for the job. So then coming back as the superintendent this time around, I knew the golf course. I know every inch of this golf course. I know the irrigation system inside and out, as crappy as it is. And one of the biggest things was fix irrigation. And I knew what I was walking into. And I knew that I set the standards up very very quickly, even before I walked in and said, look, this is what we need to do. Do I have the support to do this? And the general manager currently was, look, give me a golf course to sell and I will sell it. But you got to give me a course. And I got pretty much free reign to bring that golf course back into shape. And so just the whole it was definitely both of a mental load, but definitely different of now I can only go up at this point. Like I could not go back down from where I was. So everything that we've done is just improve. And so that was a big change of, okay, this is the difference. And who you work for is definitely, unfortunately, I always say most people don't quit their job. They quit their boss. And I stand by that a lot.
That's a really interesting way to put it. Yeah. It sounds like the theme was, you were pulling in opposite directions and now everybody's pulling in the same direction.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's leadership.
There's something else, Ben, I wanted to ask you about the book, but first off, I know I need to get your signature when I go visit home. When I visit my sim, so I'm going to have to get a signature from you firsthand. But no, so it's the fact that imagine having this book when you were first starting off at Fort Belvoir. Right?
Yes.
Imagine having this book as a young kid where, man, what it's like being the first 100 days of being a superintendent. Is there anything that you would have changed from that book now if you were to give it to a kid today?
Great question.
I don't think so. And I think that's kind of what I wanted to do, was to expose, hey, there's good in here and there's bad in here. And I tried to bring up some good things that, yes, it wasn't all bad. It was, we had some fun days. The best part of the day, I think for almost all of us, is just driving around the course each morning, checking things out, watching the sunrise. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, that's one of the best parts of the job that we ever have. So, you get the good with the bad, but I was also very honest about, hey, look, it's not all driving around, playing golf, or drinking coffee like what my staff thinks I do. So it's you're checking greens out. You got hydraulic leaks on mowers. You got to fix stuff and you got to make snap choices, but it's also keeps you busy. There's never a dull moment. That's for sure. I don't think I've ever had a dull, boring day. I mean, I tell our guys, if you're bored out here, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's
always something to do on the course.
I mean, whether it's picking sticks, picking trash, there is always something to do. I will say what was interesting in the book and, really having to start, depending on who the audience was, I had to be very cautious because I'm like, okay, how do you describe a 3500D Sidewinder? So I had to basically go in and explain that to people who, either don't play golf or are just golfers who they've never seen the mowers out there. They've never seen us mowing in the early mornings. So explaining, here's what a 3500D Sidewinder looks like, and this is what it does. That was definitely interesting, but enjoyable to kind of come up with of this machine does this. And so it was fun.
Well, I think the last thing, we wanted to ask you a little bit about the Golf Heritage Society.
Yeah, the GHS, fantastic group. So a lot of us in our line of work, we get into this business because we love golf. A lot of us love the golf history and the stories of golf architecture. Well, there's a big group out there, the Golf Heritage Society, that a lot of people don't know about. That is a group of golf enthusiasts who just love the history and preserving the game of golf. And you can find that, I believe, it's the Golf Heritage Society. I want to say .com, but don't, or .org. I should know that since I'm on the board, which I feel bad saying that. But it is the Golf Heritage Society. I'm in Region 2 for the Mid-Atlantic region. And so if anybody ever has questions, reach out. But if you love history of golf architecture, anything like that, this is a group for you. we do funny events. We play with hickory clubs. I literally have a play set, a hickory play set. And
Nice.
so I actually play with those half of the year, have a steel set and all that, but the hickories are just a whole different ballgame. We get to go to some of these fantastic historic golf courses, and we do yearly conferences that we meet people that you'll never meet elsewhere, but we all have golf history and golf appreciation in common. And I'm definitely one of the younger people at this point in the group, but it started out as a golf collectors society, but they got away from it, which I agree with, because you guys, as an example, you probably appreciate the golf history, you appreciate golf architecture, but you don't collect anything. Well, so we wanted to include you. We wanted to include, hey, you can go out and just play a golf course and just have fun and appreciate the architecture, the history, appreciate the heritage of the game and preserve the game without having to collect, without having to actually have a physical collection of stuff. Yes, my office is filled with turf books, old turf books. It's filled with golf architecture books, anything Tom Morris I could get my hands on so far, hickory golf clubs. I was actually wishing I would do the interview in my office because I had everything back there, but I wasn't staying till 6 at night.
No, yeah.
so I'm like, yeah, I'll do it at home.
Next time.
Yeah, the Golf Heritage Society, and if anybody is in September wanting to go up to Bingham, New York, that's where the Golf Heritage Annual Conference is this year. And it's just going to be a fantastic event. And each year, 2 years ago, it was in Pinehurst, another fantastic event. And you just meet everybody in those rooms is just appreciates the history, the game of golf, and just goes crazy for the game of golf, and everybody just wants to be included no matter what. I mean, yes, a lot of people are involved in high-end clubs, they belong to all these places, but, they don't treat you any different, which is something that's been definitely interesting to me growing up, because I grew up in a military family where it's been, you get a lot of the difference how you're treated between enlisted versus officers. Definitely, I think a lot more in the past than what it is now. But now it's golf. You're all inclusive. And people want to take you to their clubs. They want to show you their stuff. They want to include you, which I think is one of the very fun things about this group. And it's just amazing.
I wanted to say something about that, Ben, which is a good point, is like people need to realize like being present in the past, if that kind of makes sense, right? So like luckily here, people don't realize right down the road is a golf course called Temple Terrace. It has survived over 100+ years here in Tampa. And a lot of people don't realize that you're in a high-end residential area that could have been gone 20, 30 years ago. And the amount of dignitaries that have been through Tampa over the 100+ years is right down the street. So like when I tell these guys, like, guys, realize we're here. This course has been here for that long. And then when they realize that, they start to looking up who's played here, so forth and so forth. So the fact that you can have a historical golf course right in your own neighborhood and not even know about it, and to get to a treasure that there's a bunker on both sides of each green. Why is that? That type of thing. So man, you got to be present in the past when it comes to these golf courses.
I definitely think you find once you get into it, you definitely find some more niches, okay, my interest is golf history, or like golf turf maintenance and golf architecture. But a lot of people that they love to collect golf balls, they love to collect hickory clubs, they love to do all kinds of stuff, and everybody's got their own thing, which is fantastic. And there's so much out there. You got Mike Herdson, who has probably one of the biggest collections. He's probably one of the top 5 collectors in the world. And his office is just a museum. literally. So it's neat.
What about Andy Groves? He's a part of that too, isn't he?
Don't know Andy off the top of my head. I've not met him. I know the name, but I've not met him personally at this point.
We had him on the show 2 years ago, and it was really cool. He dove into a lot of different stories, and he loves the hickory links and stuff like that.
I remember listening to him because I was like, I'm like, is he a GHS member? And I wasn't sure because I was going to reach out. I'm like, is he a GHS member or not?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. He's definitely a historian, that's for sure. All right, Ben. Well, we've taken up enough of your time here. This has been awesome. The boys have had a lot of fun. We usually leave the last few minutes just to our guests to plug anything or talk about anything they want to.
I think everything for me, you guys covered. You got pretty much my life story in there. We're definitely going to start, as the projects go forward. It's going to be very unique to see kind of how it progresses, what we do over the next several years, how things evolve. I think this is going to be one thing about working at a course like Andrews and things. I get to try whatever it is I want to do. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be given freedom to screw up. And that's one thing in my career. I've been able to work at golf courses where it's, hey, I need to try this. And I'm not worried about losing my job if I accidentally do something wrong. When I was at Belvoir, we had an outbreak. I mean, again, we had struggled bringing back greens. It was my first year bringing them back, and there was a lot of turf loss. So I did not pre-emerge greens because my thought was I want to seed and seed and seed all year round. I just want to seed it all year round, just keep throwing it down just all year and keep growing it. Well, we got crabgrass and goosegrass in there. And I told my boss in July, I said, look, I'm either going to do something really good or I'm going to do something really bad. Are you okay with it? And I put a small rate of Pylex and Drive in that tank and sprayed those greens. Nice. And I got to tell you, it worked. No, it's not labeled for it, but it worked. And then we got to play around with Pylex on the Bermuda grass fairways. And I have some of these pictures where, again, we were just playing around with it, and we were lucky that the golfers, their only comment was, at least he's doing something. Yeah. I had these fairways bleached out. They looked like you laid a sheet of paper down. And it was, well, we're not doing that again. I mean, I had these fairways bleached white. Don't get me wrong, nothing died. The goosegrass died, but
there you go.
It just wasn't. I was like, well, I know it'll kill the goosegrass. Let's try it. And we did it on a few holes, and I mean, it literally looked like I put down a sheet of paper on the fairways. It looked really cool. I won't do it again, but it looked really cool.
Yeah. That's great. It's great to have the freedom to be able to do that kind of thing. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time again, Ben. This has been great. Me.
I'm trying to I'd like to get a good photo of Air Force One in the air so that I can actually send you those. Because the photos I have, the ones I have, I don't know if I showed you the one of the plane.
Yeah, you
in there.
sent one of it parked.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can't post those.
No,
can't post those. I'm like, because it's not the plane that's the issue, it's the hangar that's the issue.
Fair enough. So, all the security and everything, right? Yeah.
There's a little bit more that you can see from the ground that you can't see from aerial viz.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But it's definitely an interesting place to see stuff fly in, fly out just all the time. So,
yeah, that's got to be a cool spot. Well, if I ever make my way down there, I've already been on one base before because I was up in Alaska playing pro hockey up there, and we did a lot of work with the Final Frontier. So we were on the base doing a whole bunch of different stuff with those guys up there. And it's like a city. Like you get on the base after, hours or days of trying to get clearance and getting on there, you get your name tag with your picture and everything. And then it's like a city. They had a Burger King and a Wendy's and all these different spots. And I was blown away, but yeah. So it's a very interesting lifestyle. So it'd be cool to check it out if we ever get down there.
Definitely around us, it's better to be on the base than the surrounding area. And that's the unfortunate part. A lot of military bases are in not the best neighborhoods. But if you're on the base, it's good. It's going outside the base, maybe not the best areas, but that's how it is.
Good advice.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you soon, Ben. Good stuff,
Thanks,
brother.
Ben. You're the man.
Thank you, guys.
All right, brother.
Thank you,
Take
sir.
care.
We'll chat soon.
That's awesome.
Boys, that was great, action-packed episode. Lots in there.
Absolutely. I like to throw out a little not trivia, but little gee whiz information. Was like, because I was air traffic before, when I first joined the Air Force, that actually Air Force One is whatever plane the president is on. So if the president is on a Cessna, that's considered Air Force One. And that's why, like, if he's on any helicopter or practically Marine, that's why it's Marine One, that helicopter. So whatever platform he is on, technically it's number one.
I just thought of a question that I should have. Frick.
Get him back in here. Guys. Call him back.
You could say that. You could say that if you like, Ty. I mean, that's why that's there.
Go for it.
Friendly unabashed cup cutter.
Yeah, let's go.
Dude,
yeah.
I wanted to know, so Andrews is like a joint base, right? So it's like...
It is now. Yes, it is now. So it used to be just Andrews Air Force Base. And then rightfully, because we were there at the same time. I was there at the Pentagon from 2011 to 17. And so I had to go on Andrews Air Force Base. And I had a lot of buddies that were stationed there and that actually are called Ravens that protect the plane. That's their job. And no, man, it is a big installation. And so I didn't realize they had that many holes there. I mean, I wasn't playing golf at the time, but I didn't realize it was that big of a track. So these, like what Ben was saying, these are like little cities. These are just, you could shut down the whole world if there was a zombie apocalypse and you have the commissary, you have a hospital, you have everything that you need.
The real question is, are you an Army or Navy guy when the game comes around? Go Army beat Navy, go Navy beat Army. I mean, polarizing. Just
that's a big one.
Such a
maybe you can't do anything. It's like being political, right? You just kind of have to just. I'm the greenskeeper. Leave me the fuck alone.
I'm gonna mute now. No, just kidding. No, it was good stuff. I mean, it's so cool that I didn't realize that he wrote that book for doing it for the first 100 days. I mean, I'm just thinking about like the AITs that I've met, that I'm proud of these young guys that I've talked to because they're my son's age, right? These young guys like Grayson and my track and down another buddy that I know, that, man, imagine, guys, you should check out this book. You know what I mean? Check out what he's done because these guys are that next step.
Yeah, I love how he planned that out. Like, actually took notes every day for 100 days and then ended up having all the stories and everything to be able to put it into a book. It's so cool.
What a guy.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Yeah.
Well, it's been really good, boys. Brian and I lately have been doing some questions from the community to end off. So I picked one out here for us today. Favorite meal to cook. So not favorite meal to get or not like, what do they call a death row meal or something like that. But what's your favorite meal to cook or even like your best meal that you like to make? I'll throw that one out to you guys. If you want me to go first so you can think about it, I can.
I don't have to think because I love to cook. So I don't have to think.
There we go.
And the fact that I'm half Filipino. So and that's part of my culture, the whole Pacific Islander Asian thing is like, we love to provide for people. I love cooking. My number thing for folks that don't know, especially the military would know this, is lumpia. If you have a Filipino friend or anybody like that or been on base, I love it, Tyler. Brother, I have a mad recipe for lumpia. And I don't put extra effort, but lumpia, for those that don't know, it's basically like an egg roll, right? It's a rice wrap. You put a little meat in there, you deep fry it. And the joke is like, because I made it a lot in the military, because I'd have poker nights with the guys, is like, I call it crack for the white guy, because all the dudes be hanging around the air fryer. I'm not kidding, gentlemen. I would be cooking lumpia. As soon as I'm taking out the air fryer, guys are already eating it. And the fact that it's my mom's recipe and I kind of tweaked it. And so now it took me almost 16 years before I trusted my wife to learn how to make the recipe. And now I can't tell. So lumpia is the jam. I mean, it's an appetizer. You dip it in soy sauce. You dip it in sweet chili sauce. I love making lumpia. It just takes hours to make it. It takes hours of prep time. And then it takes, a minute to deep fry and it's down their mouth in a second. So mine is lumpia, 100%.
What about you, Tyler?
I feel pushed into a pigeonhole, man, because I got to pick one. Dave, I am a
top three.
Man, I love to cook. It's like such a fun creative outlet. like a movie I watched with my older son all the time was Ratatouille.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Good
love
one.
it. Good movie.
Very fun. So, all right, can I go a top 3?
Sure.
Thanks. It's all made up anyways. I
I
don't
need
know.
it.
I mean, come on.
All right. Number 1 is pork barbecue on a block pit. So pork spare ribs or pork butts. My dad taught me how to barbecue pork spare ribs, barbecue pork butts. Love doing those on like a homemade cinder block pit with a live fire. Big fan. And then my wife's favorite that I cook is I do a mean carbonara the OG way.
Oh, that's
You know,
delicious.
with yes, you
Some
know, like
poor people mowing right now. Just Tyler.
pancetta, you know, toss it in the sauce with the pasta water with, you know, like the egg and so, well, baby. However, my wife is a freak, and she likes frozen peas in it. And I just don't desecrate it, babe. Come on.
Just have it on the side, you know?
All right. Now let
interesting.
me just put this, on the, at the very end. Okay. The best thing I think I make is, my dad taught me how to smoke barbecue on old galvanized trash can. You burn all the whatever off of it, and then you like smoke out of it like a barrel or something. So I have one of those that I've been cooking in for I don't know, like 15 years. And it's all like seasoned and glorious. So what I'll do is I'll get a couple tri-tips and I will put those on the smoker. And just like get them up to temp right until they're, just before rare. And then I'll make a big hickory fire and sear them on the outside. So you get kind of this like reverse sear of a tri-tip. And then I'll make like a kind of like a beautiful like lemon crema dipping sauce with some horseradish in it. Baby, it doesn't get better. Slice it real thin. If this comes out on Toro Tuesday and somebody's sitting on a Toro, just think, you could be eating a reverse seared Toro
Love that.
on Toro Tuesday. Is that a plug? Sorry. I'd like to announce
Just the fact that I'm sitting at all these parking lot for 2 hours now, that I could easily go get some food to cook, and I do have a stove underneath in the bottom here. So
He's ready.
dude, that's what I do, baby. I'm not kidding, brother. Like I said, I really am planning on getting this out there. But man, you said spaghetti like carbonara, man. That's actually, my son likes to use bacon instead when he makes it. And so my son's at 17 years old. He uses bacon instead, and it's just awesome. But what about you, Adam, then? So what about you?
I married a Cajun girl, so I'm not really allowed to cook.
Look at both of us.
You did it so right, though. You did it so right.
Oh, that's funny. That
worked out well. I cooked a lot for myself when I played hockey because, we're eating all the time. So I was a big barbecue guy, cooked a lot of meat, enjoy making steaks and burgers and stuff like that. The one thing I'm allowed to make in our house, and I make quite often, is cheesy eggs. So I make scrambled eggs, throw a little cheddar cheese in there, and then I do a little Greek yogurt. And the way that the way it all cooks together because of the fat in the yogurt, it's phenomenal. So my kids ask for that all the time, and it get a lot of protein in there. So it's a good one.
Man, we have to give that a shot. We actually just did breakfast for dinner last night. And my wife did it like pretty. Oh, dude. Oh, my Lord.
Like, it's
so
the best
cheap.
meal. Why not just have it whenever? And it's
exactly.
cheap.
Dude, it's, oh my God, right? I mean, I got 3 grown men in my house too, on top of myself. But I'm going to try that though, because my wife just started using like heavy creamer, but I'm a fitness guy. I like to have more protein. So using the Greek yogurt, man, that's a great idea, bro. I'm going to use that.
The way it cooks all together with the cheese and the eggs and stuff, it's really good. Just don't throw it all in at the same time. Cook the eggs up first and then throw the other fellas in.
Tracking. Oh, that's good stuff. Man,
that's a great briefing,
awesome.
Corshane.
Great briefing. I get out there and cook.
I still say Roger that, man. I still say Cobb. I still say negative. I'm at the, sir, would you like a receipt? Negative. I'm good. I still do it. I mean, it's terrible, but man, it was, I'm starving now. That's some good stuff.
Yeah.
I got
definitely gonna have to get some food.
Oh,
No doubt.
Well, we appreciate you guys taking some time to do this. This was a lot of fun. We'll definitely have to do it again sometime.
Yes.
Wish you guys all the best with everything you got both have going on, because you're both very busy with golf and life and family and podcasting and everything. I know all too well how busy it can be, but like I said earlier, just give it some time and it's going to be part of the routine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thanks
brother.
again,
Appreciate
Adam
it.
and Tyler, guys. Thanks for having us on. And what better way to met this guy at the GCA this past year. And then I tried to get to you, Adam and Brian, but you guys were celebrities. I'm like, I can't get over there. So no, I'm just kidding. But it's been stuff, man. Good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah,
Adam.
definitely. Well, we'll start planning for New Orleans coming up, and
Here we go.
Yeah, we'll have to do some stuff together, maybe, boys. It'll be fun.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Take
This
care.
was a lot of fun, fellas. You guys be
Absolutely.
good, okay?
Yes,
Roger
sir.
that. We'll do. All right, Red.
That is going to do it for another episode of Turf Today. A huge thank you to Ben Ellis for joining us and sharing his story and some of the lessons he's learned throughout his career so far. We really appreciate you taking the time, Ben. It was awesome. I'd also like to thank my co-hosts for this week, Tyler Miget and Dave Warszawski. Thank you so much, boys, for stepping in and making this a great conversation. If you, the listener, enjoyed this episode, we'd really appreciate your support. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen, leave us a 5-star rating, and maybe even a little review. It really helps more people discover the show. And if you know someone in the turf industry who would enjoy this episode, share it with a friend or a coworker. Don't forget to check out all of our latest merchandise at turftodayshop.com, and be sure to follow us on social media for behind-the-scenes content, episode clips, and industry news. Thanks again for listening, and as always, we'll see you next time on Turf Today. Keep those reels sharp.